Okay, welcome back to the channel, everyone. You might notice that we're different people than Tim today. I'm Jess Gordon.
I'm Steve Farrell.
And I thought maybe we'd talk briefly just a little bit about ourselves. We both work at the Zen Social Worker group practice and each have our own clients. And there's some differences too, but I'm in a BSW program right now, so I'm studying to be a social worker.
I am a therapeutic counselor who is eventually going back to school very soon to get my undergrad so that I can get my degree in social work.
No way!
Yeah, way!
Surprise!
Surprise!
My first time hearing that. And you're a yoga teacher.
I'm a yoga teacher and I teach meditation and mindfulness. I've been doing that for about 20 years. Yeah. And author. I'm an author.
But this is one of the books.
This is one of the books. This book is called MyAct, which is Mindful Yoga-Based Acceptance and Commitment Therapy, which was the first book that Tim and I wrote together. And then the second book is The Hero Within, which Tim and I also wrote together.
Yeah, so you're like a pretty experienced in ACT.
I wouldn't say that I'm like advanced ACT. Like I would say Tim is advanced ACT. So I've probably been exposed to ACT around 2016, 2017, when I first met Tim.
So close to 9 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just a little bit of background about us and why we're on the channel. We're part of the Zen Social Worker, and yeah, we just wanted to start talking about some topics, and you might see more of us depending on how busy Tim is.
Getting some different faces on the channel.
Totally.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about living your values in action, even when it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something I'm sure that we both run into a lot with clients.
I'm going to say I run it into it, maybe not a lot, but I run into it in my own life.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right? That was one of the things that drew me to ACT was when I heard people like Steve Hayes and Tim talk about ACT as though it's not a therapy, it's an approach to living life. Right?
Yes.
It's an approach to living a life of meaning and value, and that really stuck with me. ACT might be a therapy, but it's more an approach to how you live your life, how you engage with the good stuff and how you engage with the difficult stuff, and how everybody's life is going to have difficulty in it.
Do you use any metaphors with your clients to kind of help them understand what values are?
Absolutely. Yeah. So one of the things that I talk about, it's actually one of the metaphors that I've been using a lot more lately again is I call it cloud in front of the sun, right? And so if we imagine that the sun is our values, what's actually important to us, and sometimes that needs to be teased out. Some people aren't actually sure what they value, or they've never been asked that question before, right?
Or can't put a name.
To it. I don't know that let's put a label on this value, but I know that something's important to me. So that might take a little bit of teasing out with a client, but especially when we talk about being able to live what we value in difficult times, the analogy that I'll use is, and it was actually based on an interaction that I had with my daughter, where we were at the beach one time when she was really young, and she said, a cloud went in front of the sun, and she goes, "Daddy, where's the sun?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just behind the clouds." And she really couldn't, I think she was maybe 2.5, 3. She really couldn't grasp that the sun was still there, even though she couldn't see it. And that's one way I try to relate values and what we might call obstacles or hooks, right? Is that when an obstacle shows up, right, whether it be old trauma, fear, anxiety, depression, pain in a body, it can be really difficult to see that what we value is actually still there.
I'll go now. First sort of a metaphor that I like to use, to contrast, just going through life versus intentionally following your values even when it's hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
When things are cloudy, is I like to use the analogy of autopilot. You're maybe doing what you've always done, doing what your family expects of you, doing what society expects of you, right? And you're not really stopping what religion expects of you.
Okay.
And you're not really stopping and thinking about, okay, what is it that I actually want to move towards. Mm-hmm. It's it's like when the clouds are like in front of the sun, but like you don't realize it.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Some autopilot.
Yeah.
Just like,
Kind of just slowly moving through life.
yes.
You can either sometimes let life happen or you get to create life, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes the circumstance that you're in will strongly limit what's available. But I think part of what I like about ACT is this idea of control versus no control. I don't get to control this, this, and this,
Yeah.
but I do have some influence over this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And if I can recognize that I have that influence, if I recognize that even though things are hard right now and I'm struggling, that I can still live what I value within the confines of this difficult situation.
And there's so many other analogies.
Yeah,
so many, right?
There's literally a book called Act Metaphors. Just a whole book full of metaphors.
North Star,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Values put you back on track.
Yeah.
For sure, reorientation.
An anchor, a compass,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's sort of how we describe it to our clients and help them understand.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of going back to like helping them even like, let's call it unearthing their core North Stars,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Like discovering, what it is actually, like patience, could be like connection,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Communication.
And helping them to do that could look like asking, for example, what activities or what things do you do? Like, when do you find that you feel like the most alive?
Mm-hmm.
What activities like light you up or make you excited?
Mm-hmm.
Like, even when no one's around.
What is it for you?
For me, it's definitely like physical activity,
So like movement.
like movement,
Yeah,
for sure.
Same.
And it's funny because in social work, right, a lot of the classes, a lot of the profession is like sitting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that's like really important to me that I think about a lot is like, how can I bring more of these things like to my practice,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, how can I, for myself, make profession? So that's something. Yes. Shameless plug. No, for sure, 100%.
But that was one of the reasons why we actually created the book was like movement is such a great way to, I think movement is such a great way to even practice living what you value,
100%.
right? Like as somebody who grew up, like at 15, I started lifting, strength training, bodybuilding. But that practice in and of itself has taught me a lot about what's actually important longitudinally.
Yeah.
Because I got into bodybuilding because I had low self-esteem and I thought that people liked people with muscles, especially girls. So I was like, if I just get muscles, then people will like me. But then through all of that, injuries, which would get in the way because I would push too far, too fast,
Sure.
consecutively. And then I figured out at one point, no matter how big my muscles got, that there was always still like this struggle inside, right?
Yeah.
This like low sort of like self-esteem or self-worth that was like just gnawing away at me. And I've actually used strength training as a way to help work through that,
Oh.
right? So yeah, thanks. I'm better now. But what I love about some of the ideas that we put forth in Act 2 is like the idea of non-eliminative agenda. That I don't need to get rid of the icky stuff to live a life that I actually value.
And the difficult stuff often comes up when we're doing
We're
the
doing
stuff
it,
that
yeah.
matters.
Yeah. What stuff shows up for you when you're doing movement?
For me, like, it's like if I don't move, like, guilt, like, starts to show up. Like, oh, like, this isn't gonna be, like, healthy for me, even if it's just, like, one day or something. Like, these, like, really rigid sort of rules will show up for me. Like, or, oh, like, you're gonna, like, lose your progress, or even, like, perfectionism, right? Oh, like, today was supposed to be back and biceps day, and now I didn't do it, and so now that messes up my whole schedule for the rest of the week.
For sure. Yeah.
When really, like, in like the large scheme of things, like, you replace it with a walk, you do something else.
Mm-hmm. Very flexible of you.
Yes. So that I haven't always been that way.
No, me either.
Been like very rigid, like to the point where, hanging out with Tim or something, I'm Tim Swift, by the way. Hanging out with Tim, like I would want to like cut that short at night because I'm like, oh, like I have to get up early because I have to have this long of a workout, or like this many whatever minutes, and so yeah, the rigidity would get in the way of other things.
Yeah. But I sometimes get hooked by the thought of I should be further than I am. Or I wish
You should.
I should. I'm shoulding all over myself. It's so covered in should. But that'll happen to me, right? I should be further than I am. Or I should have started earlier. And so the knee-jerk response for me from that, if I'm not really paying attention to it, is to try to get there faster. Try to lift heavier, put more weight on, practice, like I'll try to play faster, right? Oh, you should be able to do this faster, so then I'll try to play faster, then I muck it up. So if I don't notice that hook, very often what I'm doing is I'm like almost sabotaging my own practice.
Yeah.
Just by not noticing that that hook is there, or when that hook shows up, I just immediately bite it because truth is, it's like I've bitten that hook so many times before.
Because we're talking about examples of we're still living the value anyway, and we're noticing like that icky stuff like showing up. But there's a lot of people and a lot of clients even who struggle to even start, right? Who are not at that point yet of like doing it anyway. So like for example, if you value someone who values connection, right? I'm sure you work with people who, for example, maybe have like social anxiety and are really like nervous about talking to other people, but maybe it's because like that value of like connection like actually matters. So maybe we could talk a little bit about like practical strategies that we use with clients like that to help them to like make those first steps when they feel when that experience is so scary.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to start with?
So very like I do a lot of like exposure based work, right? So like first thing for me would be to sort of establish like a subjective units of distress scale. Right? Going off of not going and doing 100-pound bicep curls, right? Like not going straight for the heaviest weight in the gym, going for something a little lighter to start.
Yeah.
Just so that we can start with like small rituals, small little things like each day. That's how I would start.
Yeah.
Working with clients, like when there's like fear.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Like, it's like okay, like so maybe asking your friends to go to the movies and going to the movies with them, like maybe that's like a 70, right? Because then, you know, you're scared of them judging you or thinking you're weird for your movie choice, right? And like that experience is really anxiety inducing. But maybe sending like a text message, like in the group chat, like maybe that's like a 10.
Yeah.
So like, what can we pick here that's still moving towards our values? Like starting small, something we can do on a daily basis that's not gonna like send us into like
overdrive, like emotional overload.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I call them scalable toward moves.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes the analogy that I'll use, or the reference I'll use, is what I call low hanging, mid hanging, and high hanging fruit. Right. So and sometimes I'll even go with like low hanging fruit is sometimes just the fruit that's on the ground. Like you don't even really have to work to get it. It's already there. Just pick it up and eat it. Just pick it up. Right. But even before that, I might go for people. What are examples in your life where you're already living? You're already doing what you value, right? There's got to be something in your life potentially, right? I don't want to put an absolute on everybody's life, but for the most part, I think everybody has, whether they can point to it or not, there's a moment in their life where they are living their values, even when it's tough.
Yes.
Right? Whether you go to your job, even when you're tired. I'm so tired. I don't feel like I'm going to perform well today, but I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to my job. Okay, well, why is that important to you for you to go to your job? Like, connect to the value of it. And then I really love that idea of maybe don't invite your friends to a movie that's a 70, but send a text message. Like, what's an easier way for you to do that? That's why I like the idea of low-hanging, mid-hanging, high-hanging fruit, because it kind of goes against the idea a lot of the times that I have to do something big to create the shifts that I want.
Right.
And I don't have to. Sometimes I can take really, really small steps that, when you add them up, accumulate to a lot.
And what you're describing there is reinforcing direction over perfection.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
absolutely.
you're still moving towards like something that matters. No, maybe you're not doing like the most intense, crazy, like you're not like living like in your like ideal true self right now.
You're a
But like
fully authentic person that you want to be. Yeah.
in every single way, right? But maybe like you're making steps like move towards that, and that's still a win.
Yeah.
So I think when working with clients, or even there might be people watching this video who like feel that way, right? That they need to be perfect in order to, be doing it right.
Yeah. If it's not a 10 out of 10, then what's the point? Right?
Yeah.
I don't need to make these gigantic leaps all the time. If it's available, if you have the time and you have the energy and you've slept well the night before and you're eating okay and maybe like your kids aren't sick, right? Then maybe you get to do a bunch of the high-hanging fruit stuff without completely demolishing yourself.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think some people need to keep that in mind too, is that the nervous system really only has an available amount of energy to output.
Yeah.
And we can't do all of these big leaps all the time, or we end up like burning ourselves out and exhausting. And then maybe we regress further than we wanted to, which then starts another cycle of icky thoughts and feelings showing up, right? And so if we can start making small changes, especially at the beginning, this low-hanging fruit, we can actually end up getting somewhere a lot different than where we are.
A lot closer.
A lot closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then at least, like you said, it's more about the process of getting there than it is about getting the thing, right? I say sometimes success is a process versus success is an outcome, right? Like I can be successful in my process even when I don't necessarily get the outcome that I want.
I love
Right? Right? Like, and I'll use the example of, let's say, like athletes in the Olympics. Like no athlete that goes to the Olympics is a bad athlete.
No.
And they can do all the right things and train in all the right ways and go to the Olympics and do their absolute best and not get a medal. But it doesn't diminish the work that they've done and how they are still moving towards what's important to them.
And what an incredible achievement that is anyway.
Absolutely. Just to get to go to the Olympics is crazy. Right? But how often some people associate with success with outcome and not process. Oh, I didn't win the game, which means I didn't do my best. Right? I didn't pass the test, which means I'm not smart enough to pass that test, or I didn't study enough. I didn't put in enough work.
Right.
And I think what that leaves out is context.
100%.
It leaves out all of the other factors that influence that kind of stuff.
All the important stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Our last sort of section, I'm loving the navigation metaphor, so I'm going to go into the next section. Navigating the inevitable value clashes. So basically the challenge is that the values aren't always smooth sailing, right? We had plane metaphor and a boat metaphor. So they can clash with other values that we have, right? For example, the very common one, and a common one I'm sure that maybe like you've experienced or you've seen clients experience is often like work, like and career achievements and parenting, right? So I think maybe talking a little bit about, how to help people, clients, whoever is watching this, navigate those kinds of clashes. Like, what do you do?
One, I like to use the idea of not balanced, but balancing, right? Like, I don't think we're going to get to a place where everything is balanced. Even if we look at the term homeostasis, which is usually thought of as like even keel homeostasis, but that's not how homeostasis works. Homeostasis is an environment where things can fluctuate and very quickly come back to center.
Yes.
Right. So for me, like, that might be real. I quickly realign with what I value. Right. So to say that you're going to get a balance of work to other things in your life, and that that's going to be consistent everywhere, I think is a false hope.
Yeah.
Instead, what we do is we get really, really good at another analogy of walking the tightrope, right? Being really, really present with where we are, being aware of where we want to get to. And then if you ever watch like a professional tightrope walker, which I do, I love watching people do stuff like that, especially with slacklining. Like, I love watching slacklining. If you watch a really, really experienced tightrope walker, they're not just autopilot taking every step, right? Like, they're constantly surveying around them, not from a hypervigilant place, but from a value of getting to the other side of the rope. And so they're noticing the environment. Is there a wind? Is there a breeze going by? Like, testing the rope. They'll slide a foot out first and then test it out, and then they kind of like commit to the step. But if you see a really, really good tightrope walker, when they know that the step isn't a good step to take, they'll back out. Like, they'll get some space from it, right? Okay, now's not the time to take that step. Right? So that, for me, that's part of it, is like, and that's what I love about, let's say, 6 core processes of ACT. One of them being present moment. Can I be here right now? Acceptance, maybe not liking or wanting what's happening or the way things are going, but can I settle into that just for a moment? Can I really pay attention to it? Can I get curious about what's happening? So that I know is not if this is the right step to take or the wrong step to take, but is this step really aligned with what I value right now?
Right.
I also like an exercise that I do with a lot of my clients is what I call value swapping, which starts out, so this is how it starts. We take a look at their life map, and we look at all their values, and some people have a lot. Like, sometimes when I do a life map with people, their value section is just crammed full of stuff. And then I ask them, I was like, look at that list. How do you live all of that at the same time in this moment?
That's good.
And the answer is, you can't. You can't live all those values at the same time, right? And that's what I love about the idea of value swapping, is right now in this moment, what do I perceive as the most important value or values?
I love that. That's where I was going to go.
Okay, cool. Go then.
Go then. No, that's literally what I had. I'm like, great, you took my answer. Yeah, literally.
Great minds. Great minds.
Pausing.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to say. Pausing, using mindfulness, present moment awareness, and like pausing and asking what value matters most right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I get a lot of my clients to print off their life maps, or I get them to print off just their value section.
Yeah.
And have it on them. So in the moment when
the Act Essentials app.
You get Act Essentials app. You got it, right?
You have all of them in your pocket.
And when you have all of them there, when you're like, I don't know what to do, when you're getting, like, I'll usually say when you're getting hooked by things like uncertainty, confusion, fear of taking the next step, right?
Yeah.
What's the right choice right now? Then you can pull out your values and be like, oh, these are all the values. But what's most important right now? Like, in this exact moment, what's the most important?
Yeah.
Right? I think that there's a kind of nobility or pseudo-nobility sometimes when people get stuck in trying to live all of their values at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? When honest, transparent, authentic, empathetic, compassionate, assertive, right? Like, you can't live all of those at the same time. You have to be able to recognize when one value that you want to be about clashes with a value that might actually be more important in that moment.
Right? And like, Change course.
Change course.
Temporarily.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to detour around an obstacle, like around like construction.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So maybe we'll this is a good place to conclude.
I think so.
You know, we've drawn together quite a few other processes that can help in times when there's values clash. That's a good place to end that section, and then just sort of moving to a conclusion of sort of all the main points that we've brought together today. So really big picture is one of the things that we've talked about is living by our values isn't just about what we do now or do today. It's all the small things that add up over time that bring us towards what we want.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's one thing. And then lots of visualization, right? And even in picking our values, in staying on course, right? Visualizing what that ideal life would look like and really connecting with that. That's something that's going to be really important in values in action, right?
Absolutely.
Is continuing to be aware of that and reflect on that, right? And also something that we haven't really mentioned, but that I want to mention in conclusion, is that this is a lifelong practice, right? A lifelong commitment, right? A value isn't just something that you check off a to-do list and it's done, right? It's something that you're constantly working on, and we really drove it home that it's not really about perfection, it's about direction. It's one of the main things that we've gone over today. Values are a compass, a blueprint, a direction that we follow.
Approach.
Exactly.
A vehicle.
Yes.
Right.
If you haven't already watched the video that we have on the channel about the Act Values app and how to clarify your values, I'll link that down below. You should definitely check that out.
Check it out.
I
use it with my clients.
I use it all the time, my clients, myself. And yeah, check that out. It'll be linked down below. And comment down below one value that you want to live more fully even when you're struggling.
Such a good prompt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to see that. And once again, I'm Jess.
Steve.
This is Steve. Thank you so much for watching this video.
Thanks for being here.